Hey all, it's regular Tetragon. There's a game that's very important to me that has unfortunately not gotten a lot of attention recently. That game is Tetragon Fortress. Tetragon Fortress, I'm sure, means a lot to many of you in its community, and I just thought I'd chat a little bit about it because I've been sort of radio silent for, well, it feels like a couple years now, about when I got my last job. So anyway, I'm not going to assume that everybody on this channel knows exactly what Tetragon Fortress is, so I'll give them a little history and rundown about its sort of development. So Tetragon Fortress, it's a very long-term project of mine that started out as really just an educational exercise. It was at the very end of high school. The game itself is essentially a clone of Valve's Team Fortress 2. It started out actually as just the scattergun, really awful blocking model and a base plate with just like a wall, right? All I wanted to do at that point was just learn how FPS games did guns. And I mean, I certainly learned. I highly recommend implementing your favorite game as a way to get better at programming because, oh my god, I got better at programming from it. It was a really good start. And the weird thing about implementing your favorite game is that it's also going to be other people's favorite game. So I ended up getting kind of a very impressive success in terms of like an indie FPS, right? Like we were running upwards of 600 players concurrently at its peak, and that was just absolutely incredible. It expanded in a way that I had never expected it to. I think there was one day when the concurrent player count just randomly shot up to 2,000, and I was working on this enormous update. It was the very first update that had a shop in it, right? And I just, it broke my heart to see so many people playing. It wasn't ready yet at that point, but you know, things sometimes just get out from under you in a really amazing way, and that's what happened with Tetragon Fortress. It just became this huge part of my life that I would go around and, you know, physically show people the game I made. It was like, hey, my name's Vale. I go by Vale now, but I didn't at the time. Hey, my name's Vale. I made this game. It's called Tetragon Fortress, and the community is amazing. They made these maps, and god damn it, I want to show it to everybody. And I mean, here's the point where I want to mention how wonderful the community is. It's such a creative community. I was constantly getting submitted maps and weapon designs and like game mode ideas. It's been just an absolutely incredible time. Many of you had huge expectations outside even my scope, which I love that. I love that tenacity that just sort of infected the whole community, right? It was a very creative bunch of people. And there are AAA games that would absolutely kill to have a community as awesome as you all. And, well, the community, I think, has been hurt the most by my sort of radio silence. A big reason for that was because I never intended to stop developing Tetragon Fortress. It just sort of happened that way. Essentially, I'm working a full-time job now, and having a full-time job means I just didn't really have the energy to be working on this huge but wonderful project, especially if it means that, you know, Roblox has some issues with their payout structure. Like, I was not making enough money, really, to work on Tetragon Fortress full-time or anything close to that. This video is just as much a love letter to the community as it is to the game itself. All this is why I'm announcing today that I'm making Tetragon Fortress free. Now, I know it sounds like Tetragon Fortress is already free. I'm making it not free as in beer, but free as in speech. I'm releasing the game's code today under the GNU General Public License. This means that the code is freely available for inspection, modification, and hosting. If all you do is download it and slap it into your own Roblox instance, that's awesome. You might need to tweak a few settings to get the shop and all that working. But I'd love to see mods, fixes, custom maps, and all sorts of mini Tetragon Fortresses. The one stipulation is that any modification you make needs to be available for anyone else. And if you use its content in your project, you have to release that project under GPL as well. You can do this by just pushing up your own branch onto GitHub. There will be a Git repository, and feel free to make as many forks of that as you like. If you fix any bugs, it would be great if you let me know. I don't have a ton of time to work on Tetragon Fortress, it's true, but I may be able to patch some of those bug fixes back into the main game. I think ultimately, this license will help the community be healthy in the long run. GPL projects don't tend to die out when like as soon as they start getting popular. They tend to just sort of continue and grow into incredible things. And I have a feeling that Tetragon Fortress has the potential to grow into an even more incredible thing than it already is. And that's the main reason I'm entrusting it to the community, because I believe in your creativity. A lot of it is not super well documented. It's a lot of code I wrote just over the course of about 6 years, so it's come in and out of being legible, and I've gone through multiple different styles and all sorts of stuff, but I think you're all smart. You can figure it out. Anyway, this isn't the end of regular Tetragon. It might be the end of regular Tetragon on Roblox, but I've got a few things I'm working on. I just hope you'll enjoy them as much as Tetragon Fortress. If you subscribe to this channel, I'll be posting updates to projects that I've been working on, such as Complex Silver, which is a cool little Metroidvania game I'm putting together. I'm also potentially going to start a Patreon sometime soon, so that way I can fund development. Patreon subscribers will get alpha builds of the stuff I'm working on as it comes out. Might be a little bit buggy, but that's just... I like to keep people up to date, and I like getting input on the work I make. So if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll throw a Patreon link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.